At this very moment, as you listen, there's a strong possibility that your attention is divided. Maybe a part of your mind is already planning what comes next. Maybe you're replaying something that happened earlier today. What's interesting is that this isn't unusual at all. A famous study conducted by researchers at Harvard asked thousands of people to report at random points throughout their day what they were doing and how they felt. The results revealed something surprising. People's minds wandered away from the task at hand nearly half the time, about 47% of their waking hours. Even more striking, those whose thoughts drifted more frequently generally reported lower levels of happiness. Think about that for a moment. For almost half of the life you experience, your mind may be somewhere else than where your body is. I was raised in Japan, and today I'd like to share 8 simple Japanese habits. They're so deeply embedded in everyday life that many people don't even recognize them as habits anymore. They don't require money. They don't require extra free time. They don't require another productivity tool. Yet each one has the potential to quietly transform the way an ordinary day feels. The first habit speaks directly to that wandering mind, and the final one took me many years to fully appreciate. So stay with me until the end. Let's begin. The first habit is called Ichigo Ichie. Its roots lie in the Japanese tea ceremony, and its meaning is often expressed as one encounter, one opportunity. When a tea master prepares a gathering, they do so with the understanding that this exact experience can never happen again. Because it can't. This precise combination of people, emotions, weather, light, sounds, and circumstances will never exist in exactly the same way twice. I remember sitting with my grandmother one afternoon, listening only partially because my thoughts were already occupied with tomorrow. Then it hit me. That version of her, that version of me, that exact afternoon, none of it would ever return. So many moments that appear ordinary, a family dinner, a walk around the neighborhood, a conversation with someone we care about, feel like background events. But they aren't. They are life itself. The child sitting beside you today will never be this age again. The friend you've been meaning to call continues living their story while you wait for a less busy week. Ichigo Ichie doesn't demand that every moment be extraordinary. It simply invites you to fully inhabit the one that's happening right now. The next time your attention begins drifting away from the person or experience in front of you, let that be a gentle reminder to return. The second habit is called Itadakimasu. The wonderful thing about this practice is that most of us have several opportunities to use it every day. Before eating, many Japanese people place their hands together, bow slightly, and say, Itadakimasu. While it's often translated as, let's eat, its deeper meaning is closer to, I gratefully receive. It's an acknowledgement of everyone and everything involved in bringing that meal to the table. The farmers, the cooks, nature itself, and the living things that became nourishment. After the meal, another phrase is spoken, Gochiso-sama, a simple expression of thanks. I love this habit because modern life encourages us to consume automatically. We eat while scrolling. We eat while working. We eat while distracted. Sometimes we finish a meal and barely remember tasting it. Itadakimasu creates a brief pause, just a few seconds, but that pause changes everything. Research on gratitude has repeatedly shown that people who regularly practice appreciation tend to feel more optimistic and more satisfied with life. You don't need a formal ritual. Just take one conscious breath before eating. Allow yourself to truly receive the meal instead of rushing through it. The third habit is one that helped me more than almost anything else with perfectionism. The word is Toriaezu. In everyday conversation, it roughly means for now, or to begin with. You might hear someone at a restaurant say, for now, let's start with this. Simple. But the idea carries surprising wisdom. Many people delay meaningful things because they're waiting for perfect conditions. The perfect plan, the perfect timing, the perfect mood, the perfect version of themselves. Unfortunately, that ideal moment often never arrives. Meanwhile, years pass. Dreams remain untouched. Toriaezu changes the question entirely. Instead of asking, how can I do this flawlessly, you ask, what small step can I take right now? You don't need to write an entire book. Write one imperfect paragraph for now. You don't need to overhaul your fitness. Take one short walk for now. You don't need to solve everything. Just begin. Once motion starts, clarity usually follows. Waiting rarely creates progress. Action does. After beginning, the fourth habit helps maintain momentum. It's called Kotsukotsu. The word describes patient, steady effort carried out little by little. There's almost a rhythmic quality to it. Small, consistent, persistent. We often imagine success as the result of dramatic breakthroughs, but most meaningful achievements are built through repetition. The person who seems to have suddenly mastered a skill probably didn't. What you're seeing is the result of hundreds of small days that nobody noticed. One page each day eventually becomes a book. 10 minutes of practice eventually becomes expertise. Researchers studying habit formation found that new behaviors generally take much longer to become automatic than people expect. Weeks of effort don't mean something is wrong. They mean you're still in the process. Kotsukotsu reminds us that progress doesn't need to be exciting. It only needs to continue. The fifth habit shifts our focus from time to environment. It's called Seiton. The concept is simple. Everything has a designated place. Your keys, your charger, your glasses, your notebook. Every item belongs somewhere specific, and after using it, it returns there. One home, one object. No exceptions. Studies examining people's living environments have found connections between cluttered spaces and elevated stress levels. While clutter itself may not directly cause stress, many people recognize the feeling. A room filled with unfinished visual reminders can quietly drain mental energy. When everything has a place, daily friction decreases. You stop spending precious minutes searching for things that aren't actually lost. They simply haven't been returned home. Gradually, external order supports internal calm. The sixth habit naturally complements the fifth. It's called Seiso, which simply means cleaning. More specifically, it means cleaning continuously rather than waiting for a major cleanup session. Wipe the counter while something cooks. Put away an item immediately after using it. Wash a dish before it becomes part of a pile. The principle works because small tasks remain small when handled right away. One cup takes seconds. A sink full of neglected dishes becomes overwhelming. The anxiety surrounding the task often becomes larger than the task itself. Mess rarely appears all at once. It accumulates one delay at a time. Seiso prevents that accumulation, and your future self will thank you for it. The seventh habit may feel especially familiar. It's called Tsundoku. The word describes the habit of acquiring books and letting them stack up unread. Importantly, the term isn't judgmental. It recognizes something deeply human. The hopeful pile beside the bed, the collection of possibilities. Many of us experience a small burst of satisfaction from obtaining something new, a book, a course, a gadget, a piece of equipment. The purchase feels productive, but owning something and using something are not the same thing. We often mistake preparation for action, and we frequently assume our future selves will somehow have more time than we do today. Tsundoku gently reminds us to enjoy what we already possess. Read the book that's waiting. Take the course you purchased. Use the tools you already have. There's a surprising sense of freedom from closing the gap between ownership and actual use. The eighth and final habit took me the longest to understand. It's called Shikata ga nai, a phrase that can be translated as, "it cannot be helped." For years, I misunderstood it. I thought it represented resignation, giving up, accepting defeat. But that isn't what it means. This phrase applies only to things beyond your control. The weather, a delayed train, a decision someone else has already made, an event that has already happened. Notice the common thread. Your worrying cannot change any of them. Yet many of us continue fighting reality long after reality has already arrived.
There is the problem itself, then there is the mental struggle we add on top of it, the endless replaying, the resistance, the wishing. Shikata Genai encourages us to release that second burden. This isn't passivity. You still act wherever action is possible. You still influence what can be influenced. You simply stop wasting energy on what cannot be. Psychologists have found that people who are able to accept difficult circumstances and emotions rather than constantly battling them often experience better long-term well-being. The wisdom lies in recognizing the boundary between control and non-control. Change what you can, accept what you cannot. Carry only what belongs to you. So those are 8 quiet Japanese habits: being fully present, receiving with gratitude, starting